He predicted the San Francisco earthquake. Now he predicts the next one. Find out where on Unsolved Mysteries. Then, Dear John meets L.A. Law's Corbin Burnson.
I will personally set you up with a woman guaranteed to melt your belt buckle.
And Robert Stack guest stars on The Finelli Boys.
You are such a weasel.
It's a special guest star Wednesday only on NBC.
Now, Tim Taylor, Tana Carley, John Telich on sports, and Dick Goddard with weather. This is News Center 8.
Good evening, Cleveland, and here's what's happening.
Temporary bad weather or a long crisis? An unexpected cold snap has overtaken a huge number of people living in the northern part of our country, and it has consequences right here in our own backyard.
That's right. As temperatures continue to drop, urban infrastructure is partially and sometimes completely shut down in some cities. Some people have started moving from the northern states to the southern ones. Cars have been known to stall right as you're driving. A huge number of people have been stuck at airports waiting for their delayed flights, which remain in waiting status for 4 to 12 hours. The United States Air Force has suspended almost all of its operations. Officials say that extreme weather conditions are preventing planes from taking off, which has left military personnel stranded.
Unfortunately, we are receiving disturbing reports that people suffering from severe hypothermia are starting to attack others. This phenomenon is caused by the effect of extreme cold on the physical and psychological state of a person. As body temperature decreases, drowsiness, sluggishness are replaced by confusion, irritability, and sometimes hallucinations. Eyewitnesses describe scenes of chaos as those affected by the low temperatures fall into despair. There is no reason to panic, but we ask you to dress as warmly as possible when going out. Local authorities urge everyone to remain calm and avoid confrontation. We took comments on this from Cleveland's own Mayor Sewell.
We ask all residents of Cleveland to stay at home and lock their doors. We recommend sealing the openings between windows and frames with newspapers, anything you have on hand, anything to keep the heat in the house as much as possible. We are currently assessing the escape routes, and we will provide updated information as soon as is possible. There is no reason to panic. In 1978, exactly the same thing happened in Cleveland. We survived that blizzard, and we'll survive this one. Just follow the safety rules, and please don't turn off the water so that the pipes don't freeze.
While the city is struggling with the cold snap, many residents are understandably worried about what lies ahead. The mayor's office recommends that families prepare for potentially prolonged periods of severe cold weather. Make sure you stock up on necessary food and keep abreast of events.
We will pause for a short commercial and then come back to you with instructions on how to take care of a person affected by frostbite, as well as with world news.
An exclusive preview of Three Men and a Little Lady, tonight at 11.
You look very beautiful.
I look like a dork.
You were raised on rock and roll and 100.7 WMNS. Nobody plays more rock and roll than the Buzzer. We made the classics classic. Rock of Cleveland, 100.7 WMNS.
You know whose number this is, don't you?
5-8.
We're the people who can get your new carpet delivered and installed in one day.
588.
That means if you call Empire today, you can have carpeting tomorrow.
588.
Brand name carpeting from $6.95 installed with padding.
588-23.
In one day.
588-2300.
Empire today, carpeting tomorrow.
Empire.
Call us, day or night.
To be the one you choose, proud to be the one you count on, proud to be your news, proud to be your news. Proud is the reason that you do your best. It's when you won't settle for anything less. It's making your mark, passing the test. Proud is knowing that she's gonna say yes. Proud to be the one you turn to. Proud to be the one you choose. Proud to be the one you count on. Proud to be your news.
We're News Center 8.
Proud to be your news. Oh, the weather
In case of damage of any intensity, first of all, it is necessary to bring the victim to a warm room as soon as possible and give him a warm drink.
Further measures depend on the degree of frostbite. Frostbite of the first degree requires that you first warm the affected skin areas by breathing on them or by gently rubbing with a soft woolen cloth or your hands, and then applying a cotton gauze bandage. With frostbite of the second to fourth degrees, you need to eliminate the rapid warming, massaging or rubbing, and apply a heat-insulating bandage before calling an ambulance. As we continue to monitor developments, we urge all residents to heed the advice of local authorities and stay safe during these difficult times.
Our city cam reporter Jeff Maynor is out on it live, battered Interstate 77 with a live report. Jeff?
Well, you can see traffic is barely moving down there. We're looking at I-77 northbound toward the city. At the off-ramp here on Broadway, the ramp is barely moving at all. A lot of cars having trouble getting up that ramp, and the northbound traffic into the city is moving along very slowly, as you can see, but there are cars up ahead that are stalled, and people get to move a little bit and then have to stop. Now, southbound has just cleared out. We've been here for about 20-25 minutes, and it's just now that the southbound traffic has started to move on I-77. Part of this roadway is closed. Traffic is bumper to bumper, downtown, southbound, all the way into Summit County. As you see here, it's starting to ease up on the southbound. Now, to try to loosen the jam, police have closed many of the I-77 on-ramps. 77 northbound, as you can see, is the bigger problem right now, and it's entirely shut down from the Route 21 split in Summit County all the way to the Cuyahoga County line. As you can see here, it's all but shut down, though traffic is on it and barely moving. We heard a radio call from a policeman who was on I-77 a while ago. He said he'd been out here 3 hours and ran out of gas, and he was calling, asking for somebody to get some gasoline to him. If you have to go out tonight, make sure that you've got a full tank of gasoline in your car. If you don't and you get stuck someplace, you're going to get mighty cold. Temperatures are going to be down below zero. If you get stuck and you're running the engine to keep warm, also remember to keep a window ventilated so that fumes don't get into the car. Now, we're going to stay right here on I-77, and I hope very soon we'll have a better picture to show you of traffic moving along here. This is Jeff Maynor, live with the City Cam on the Broadway overpass on I-77.
I was in that mess coming in today, and it continues to be just awful tonight. You know, I can remember every big snowstorm that's crippled this town since 1950, but experience sure doesn't make it any easier. A blizzard has and continues to be the big problem today. In fact, those fierce winds off the lakefront filed snow more than 2 feet deep on the inner belt curve this afternoon. A tractor-trailer bogged down in deep drifts, jackknifed across the roadway, completely shutting down the southbound lanes for more than an hour. Traffic was backed up along the shoreway for miles and miles. And I know where you can find lots of frozen beef tonight. A Spiffo's truck got stuck on Clark Avenue at West 53rd as it tried to rock out of the snow. Its 30,000-pound load of beef shifted, and that trailer went tumbling over onto a hardware store. At last report, the truck was still there. Also still here, the gale-force winds that threatened downtown buildings all day long today. The wind blowing out a window at the East Ohio Fossil, and as a workman tried to put his ladder up to cover it, the winds picked up a nearby barrel and a 100-pound bag of cement. They all went crashing through a second large window pane, and luckily no one was hurt. Well, the weather was just too much for Hopkins Airport crews today. Hopkins is closed until tomorrow morning. Our Bob Franken was out there in the bitter cold all day long as those decisions were being made. Bob?
Well, believe me, Tim, with all the problems they had at Hopkins the last time around, they tried very hard to stay open today. Even though some of their planes were able to get in and out for a while, more and more travelers ended up waiting. Many of them have been stuck overnight.
I've been stranded here since 2 o'clock this morning.
You look bored to tears.
Yeah, I've been here since about 8:30 last night.
Did you expect this kind of weather?
Not in the least.
They had been able to keep some runways open through the morning, but it was a losing battle. The bitter wind and snow reduced visibility to zero this afternoon. Not only were the planes at a standstill, but everything was.
This is the worst blizzard I've ever seen in my experience at the airport, and we just can't function at all.
The decisions were being made in the Airport Operations Center, where they were coordinating workers and equipment that had been operating around the clock.
What's your feeling like it's closing? Okay, we don't want to bring any more aircraft out from the gates, though, do we, in this kind of situation?
The new ports director was balancing her intense desire to keep Hopkins open this time with the realities of an impossible situation. We were with her in operations this afternoon when she finally gave in to the weather.
We're going to close until 5 o'clock.
Why?
So that all of our equipment can get out there and move snow and not have to worry about having problems of dodging and avoiding the aircraft.
So the weather won, which meant that already weary travelers had to wait some more.
No, don't know how late we're going to be delayed. Okay, thank you.
Right now, they don't really know when flights will resume. Hopkins Airport is officially closed until tomorrow morning. But, Tim, it could be a lot longer than that.
Blizzard is kind of a terrifying word, especially when you're caught out in the traffic or out at the airport. Let's find out now if we can expect any kind of relief. Go to Dick Goddard. Dick?
Tim, it is going to be slow in coming now. You may remember a year ago this Monday, we had our first blizzard of the year, and we had nothing last year. I don't think to compare quite with this one. 7 degrees at Hopkins right now. To have a blizzard, you have to have a temperature below 20, winds hitting 35 miles an hour, and we have been in that category all day long. Highest snow depth I've seen from our Woolly Bear reporters, Mr. Dixon in Novelty and Geauga County has 19 inches on the ground. Wind whistling in out of the west, at times above 40 miles an hour. We've had a wind chill factor today right around 30 to 40 below zero. Anywhere tonight, 2 to 4 inches of new snow within that snow belt east of the city. You could have locally 6 to 12. Complete story a bit later.
And now to world news. A traffic jam of hundreds of cars has formed on the border between Canada and the United States. Extreme cold has affected most countries in the northern hemisphere. In addition to pressing issues, scientists are trying to understand the reasons for the rapid recovery of the ice sheet. Preliminary reports suggest that recent unusual atmospheric phenomena may have contributed to such dramatic temperature changes, but experts warn that more time is needed to understand the causes of the cold snap and ways to deal with it.
Unrest has affected some European countries. At this time, we received news about looting and violent fights from England.
Missiles rained down on the police, who seemed unprepared for the ferocity of the violence they faced.
France. Germany. Finland. Russia. And Norway. The local government and the police are actively fighting riots in the streets, simultaneously supporting the work of points for the delivery of basic necessities. Northeast coastal areas of Mexico were not the place to be today as Hurricane Anita moved inland, packing incredible winds of up to 186 miles an hour. Thousands of Mexicans were evacuated from fishing villages along the coast, but it's a real blessing that when Anita hit land, she moved in over an area that's mostly woodland and only thinly populated. As you can see right now, you're seeing some of the real effects of the hurricane. But as for our airtime tonight, we've received no reports of any casualties in the storm.
This was Tim Taylor.
And Tana Carley with live coverage for Cleveland Evening News. Stay warm, Cleveland.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse us. We're having technical problems. They should be corrected in a moment.
This is Alan Freed, the old king of the moondog.
Yeah.